Oh my word, I can't remember who's
Yeah,
what.
I'm about to do that. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm about to read a book.
I have to wait for people
that
to
I got
die,
for
and then I'm
free,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, that guy.
Right. I'm about to read a book that I got from a guy at South by Southwest, and so it's like it's a book written by a tech pro, and I'm really worried because I read his bio, and his bad boy is so like he uses all of the big philosophical language to talk about like, oh, it's an integration of philosophy and thoughts, and we're gonna create this and I'm like, oh,
Why are you
gosh,
choosing to read
bud.
this?
Because I want to know what passes for art in that world, what passes for
Oh my
creativity.
gosh.
Josh, what do you read for fun?
That is
what
fun
is
somehow for
what is
him.
fun?
Is
I
that
have
fun?
I'll read a biography on Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay,
Or like
you're
the
not that
history,
old, Josh.
or like the history of crime in New Orleans.
Okay,
Again,
that's
not that old.
horrible. No,
That's
that could be
it's
interesting.
fun. Yeah, it's like basically like my podcast listening.
Is
but
it
just
realistic
more.
fiction or actually nonfiction?
No, it's nonfiction. I'm not reading
Oh,
fiction.
Josh.
No, I'm reading nonfiction.
Johnny, you
know
read
what I
stuff
was
like that
watching.
sometimes?
Say what?
What?
Johnny reads stuff like that sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm a total. I don't know. I fully
been out of-
understand. With my bodily injuries at this point, I've just accepted the fact that I might as well be 50 years old. I'm just hoping for not the same fate for Josh. Josh, are you already watching World War II in color on Netflix too?
Hey, shut up. That's awesome.
Oh
I
no.
love history.
You both
Oh,
are?
no.
No.
No, Josh. No, I'm not. I'm not. Not yet.
Not watching all of it. I'm currently watching Kunk on Earth. Okay, so
This is why it's so hard
No.
to recommend books to Johnny, because him and I's reading does
And I'm
not
also
overlap hardly
watching-
at all.
and
No, it really
I just
doesn't.
started the
I
Lego
have-
Batman movie on Peacock. Okay, so I'm it's a wide
Danielle,
range
the
of
closest
things.
book I have that we probably share is probably The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and that's because somebody's turned their back is to me and they're walking the other direction. The problem is it's a couple and not just one lady. So it's close, not quite there.
I just finished the
it
Mitford
is
Affair
someone
yesterday,
walking.
where 3 women are walking away. So
Oh,
yeah, I know.
They're all walking away,
Yeah.
Josh. Have we had this discussion? They're always walking away. There's always a lady and she's always walking away.
I see. I've been out of the fiction world for so long. Like genuinely, the last fiction I sat down and read like consistently was in my lit class. freshman
Okay,
year.
Josh, did you
We
like
did
Hunger
that
Games?
together.
Did you like Hunger
No.
Games? Did you like
I
Hunger
did.
Games?
I did.
Have you read the new one?
You have to read the new one.
There's a new
Have
one.
you read the new one? They're coming
no.
out with the movie in November.
Oh, frick. Okay, I'll read the new one.
You didn't read the
Read
new one?
the new one.
You have
read
to
it.
read the new one. It's the best
You know what I
one.
read, Danielle?
Read
Danielle, you
it.
know what I read? You know what I read? I read 1,521 pages of John Calvin's The Institutes of the Christian Religion this year. That's
You
what I
You
need
read.
chose
this
to do
book
that to
then.
yourself.
No, I was actually not expecting John Calvin. I was expecting a better piece of theology. And then my professor was like, I'm a Calvinist, so we're going to read Calvin. And I'm like, fine.
Josh, detox. Read this
Yes.
So I
book.
need to
This is
read
a good
like a
detox.
dystopian novel.
Yes.
Okay. What's it called?
The song.
The Ballad of
There we go.
Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
It's the
I have
prologue.
a library
It's
card. for
really
the,
good.
Aaron's even
library.
listening to it. And Aaron doesn't read.
Don't skip to the
He's
end.
not
I don't
illiterate.
think you're that type
So
of
the stream
person,
knows
but
he
don't
can't
skip to
read.
the
He
end.
just
Don't do
doesn't
it.
want
It's
to
so
read.
good. It's so good, Josh. It's better than the other books.
It's the
Oh,
best one.
no.
It's better.
Darn it. I'm
What?
going to have to go to the library itself
Oh,
because
Darn.
Dallas. No, well, yeah, no, darn. But like, it's because Dallas Public Services just got hit with a ransomware attack.
Oh. Yay.
So I can't even check the library because some hacker decided to attack the library, which
Oof.
is a very Texas thing to attack. That's not called the Public Services.
Okay, we'll read that book by next week. Then we'll come back.
Read
we can
it.
discuss
By
it.
next
This
week.
Actually, that's so easy.
Hold on.
We actually can turn this into a book club. Aaron is no longer doing podcast. I have switched the narrative, and we're now talking about books only. So sorry,
I'm
Aaron.
gonna go to the Fondren. Hold on, I'm gonna check up SMU's library and see if SMU's library has it.
Aaron, we just have another podcast within a podcast. That's
We
just
have
what's
another podcast
happening.
within
Our
a podcast.
podcast keeps getting hijacked. That's all.
Podcast.
What-
Review article.
They'll
Maybe-
have no idea what the podcast will be about weekly. Honestly, that's just what's going
It's
to
like
happen.
podcast roulette. You open it up, you have no idea. What else could we talk about? Food?
Books. Give me books. Apply filters.
Yeah, I could talk about how Instagram feels the need to trigger me with all those food videos that I'm sure are on TikTok, and I'm just getting 2 weeks later. And
You
it's
are.
people like destroying Oreo cookies like 5 different times, and then they'll like bake them, and then they'll make them into pancakes,
No, I think
and then they'll
that's
chop
just
them up
you.
again. Oh,
Oh,
Danielle,
I
it
think you're doing
hurts.
that to yourself.
No, it's terrible. It makes me so angry. They destroy it and remake them
Are
like
you
8
continuing
different
to watch
times.
the videos? Because then it's continuing to show them to you.
Yes,
Yes,
because
and
it
that's
makes
your
me so
problem.
angry.
Johnny,
I can't.
That's how
It
algorithms
pops
work.
up, and
And
it
then you
just.
see it and you quick are like,
Then
no,
you go,
absolutely
then
not.
you do long press and go not interested, and you move
Why
on.
isn't there a dislike button? I just
there
want a
is.
dislike
The dislike button is
Hold on.
swipe.
Ugh.
Yes, Johnny, hold on. I'm going to show you. You're doing reels.
I'm
right?
an optimist. No, the problem is I'm an
not
optimist, so
getting
the video
better.
comes
Johnny,
up.
you just talked about how much you hate all of this stuff. You're not an optimist.
Well, exactly,
Okay.
but it pops up, and I'm like, maybe it won't be bad this time. Like maybe they have
Johnny-
redeemed themselves. Maybe they're actually just going to make Oreo pancakes,
Has it
and
ever
that would be
happened?
fine.
They're not.
But if
Johnny,
that-
I'm going to show you a really cool feature. Okay, I'm on reels
They
right
make
now.
the-
Whatever this
They
is,
make the
I don't even care.
pancakes, and then I'm happy, and
You see
then
these
they
little- you see
destroy
these
them
little three
again.
buttons?
Look.
You see this little 3-button thing? You're going to tap that. You see what it says right there? It's mirrored, but it says show less.
Oh,
Tap
actually,
button.
I've never seen that before. Okay, thanks, Josh.
Then it's going to tell you. It's going to say, "Hey, why show less?" And you're going to tell it.
I'm gonna find one. Right.
Yes, this post made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
probably the best one for you.
that's actually the best one. That's the best one in reality. This made me feel uncomfortable.
Tony, I'm going to put you in charge of your own. You are in charge of your own content.
Honestly, my
Johnny's learned so
Instagram
much
feed now
today.
is just absolutely wild.
Aaron's
Yeah,
sleeping.
basically.
He says, okay,
Basically
great.
Louisiana.
That's awesome. That's cool. I'd love to do that.
That'd
See,
be
the
so
problem
much
with
fun.
that, Josh, like you could just do the Mississippi, or you could do the Missouri or Ohio. Like,
Truly.
and then go to the Mississippi. So,
Honestly,
like, that's
have
kind of
three
like 3
friends.
different trips.
Have 3 friends, have them all start at their respective headwaters, meet
Mm.
where the Mississippi, like the Ohio meets the Mississippi, not where the Missouri does, but like meet basically, and then you all finish your trek together.
You meet in St. Louis, basically.
Exactly. Everyone meet in St. Louis.
I mean, I'd want to do the Missouri.
Speaking of St. Louis,
Send me
have
to
you had
Montana.
Emo's Pizza?
Yeah.
Like
Actually,
or
honest-
no? I can't tell.
Yeah. No, actually, I have. It's
You don't like it?
hate.
Wait,
You're
what kind of pizza
joking.
is it? Why is
Why
it
don't
bad?
you like it?
I'll tell you why.
What? Yeah, explain what this pizza is.
Now the crust is whatever. I find the crust is not as crispy as it should be, but that's just a preference
Josh
issue.
doesn't
for
like the
Enos.
pizza that my mom based all of her recipes off of.
The sauce.
Yeah.
All
incredibly
recipes,
sweet.
All of her pizza
Danielle,
recipes.
every
sorry.
recipe?
Yes, all of her
sauce is-
recipes.
every single
Every
recipe.
Every single
just a
one.
rip on a pizza.
And that meatloaf.
Here in Michigan, we just love St. Louis style pizza so much that even our soups are pizza based. No, their sauce is sweet. The sauce is not quite sugar sweet, but it's got a sweetness to it that
Yeah,
is
and
like
it's amazing. No, that's
no. You put sugar in my
Speaking of heresy.
sauce.
he doesn't like the sugar in the sauce.
Yeah, because it.
Josh, did you not like Romeo's Pizza in Columbus?
That was fantastic, but I've also learned how to make my own sauce at this point, and I'm sorry, it's horrendous, and I will tell you the
Their
cheese
sauce
is
is
worse.
really sweet.
The
so I thought
cheese,
it might be
Danielle,
the
is the worst. It is a
No,
fake.
no,
Oh,
no,
that's the problem.
no,
You're
no,
throwing-
no,
that's
no.
the
no, no,
The
no,
cheese
okay.
combination is the best part of the whole thing.
It's Velveeta.
I'm
It's
so
white.
glad
no, it's
Velveeta.
not Velveeta.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
Legally
not.
speaking,
So
it
glad
is
there's a
white
clip guard on this
Velveeta.
microphone. Holy smokes.
What, Aaron? What Aaron say?
He said he's
He
glad
said
there's
he's
a
so
clip
glad
on
there's a
it.
clip.
No, a clip
Yeah, there's a
guard,
clip, like a clip
which
guard.
means that when you yell, it keeps the
It
volume.
automatically, keeps it.
Sorry, but Josh
No,
is wrong.
That's okay. You're allowed to.
No,
Josh
hey,
is wrong.
You're
yell all the time.
Danielle. You're
It's
fantastic. Your
absolutely
mother is
fine.
wrong. That's a terrible
No,
cheese.
it's my favorite pizza too.
Josh, I don't
We
know if
went to
that's
St.
better.
Louis one time and we walked around all day and then we were so hungry we went back to the hotel and we said we should order pizza and we ordered Emo's Pizza and every single one of my family members, this is the best pizza.
Josh,
Listen.
also,
Don't
I think
make me-
I'd
don't
rather
make me
you
go on
tell
another-
me I'm wrong than my mother is wrong. Just,
Right.
just FYI.
Yeah,
I think I
true.
would rather you just tell me
I gotta
I'm
cut.
wrong.
I want to fundamentally change how you guys view pizza because
Okay,
that
when
is
we drive
not-
through St. Louis, the three of us, because you aren't there, we will be eating the pizza and we will give you feedback on what we think. My
I
opinion
have a
is
serious
already...
question.
Yes, serious question.
Have we actually asked Josh's parents if we could stay there?
Oh, they already know. They're good.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I asked for you.
I forgot to ask, and I don't know if I was supposed to be the one to ask, so I didn't know if you guys had asked. So if you
Amazing.
guys,
Josh asked
No,
for us.
I asked. I said, "Hey, is it cool if my friends come over?"
okay, we should still probably
Do you
text
think
them
they
though.
can get the pizza so when we get there we can immediately try it
Oh
and
my
call you and tell you that you're wrong?
My parents are going to be on. My parents are with me on this.
Your mom is
We are-
wrong.
we are-
Your mom is wrong.
Oh.
Oh, roasted.
Oh no! Oh no!
Let's go. You're gonna sleep in the shed outside
Okay, well, to each their own.
with the lawnmower.
Great. Okay, well, here I believe Aaron would like to start the podcast. I have successfully
Yeah.
hijacked enough. I'm going to go eat dinner and not talk to people. But great, lovely catching up with both of you.
Bye, Danielle.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Aaron, I just saw the Campbell Camels are on this baseball tournament.
I
I'm
think
so
it's
tempted.
softball, but yes.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is softball. I'm so
Baseball happens in
tempted
2
to
weeks.
pick Campbell.
Although I think they're
the
decent in
Campbell
baseball
Camels.
too. So, yeah, do it. You should.
I want to pick them, but I'll have no chance of winning. But I want to pick them.
Yeah. Oh, I need to pull up that
Do you
TikTok.
pick with your heart? Even Central Arkansas is in here. I love that.
Oh, this will be a lot of fun.
Young man? Young man?
I'll
Hi.
go with.
Hi.
How about the
Is that your
Vols?
monkey?
The Vols have
Yeah.
had a good.
Okay, there was a
Tennessee's had a good year overall. Keep the good times rolling.
keep those good times rolling. Where's my charger? There it is.
All right. Well, I am ready. When you guys are.
Okay. I just need to
Oh, yeah,
find
let me
what
start
I'm following real
recording.
fast, and then I'm ready.
That baby ain't moving anywhere.
Just be them who's caused it.
Have we talked?
Você não vai trabalhar, não?
Guys
Já é
surgically making
meio-dia.
themselves taller
Que
before?
trabalhar,
I
mãe.
absolutely hate that.
Tô
That
pensando mais nessa
Yeah.
vida não, tô fazendo mais nada.
Well, we gotta talk
O importante
about
é
it.
essa
I get it.
série
I
nova que
have
eu
to,
comecei.
so
mãe.
I get it.
Me
but-
esqueça.
No, Aaron, no. Actually, Josh, no. I'm
Olha,
not
chega de
picking on you, but
palhaçada.
you're the shortest of the three of us. Have you seen the videos of the guys surgically making themselves taller?
When you texted, when you sent that to in, yeah, I was like, this is, it's not great.
Okay,
No,
leave it
I
at
had-
that because we'll talk
Deus,
about it in the
Yes.
podcast. So,
Yes. Oh, man, I got a bunch of conspiracies.
I love a good conspiracy.
I know. I'm trying to find the one that's like, this is the one that's gonna make you angry.
Ooh, well, is that your goal every week? I feel like your
No.
goal every week is just either what you're following or jail or something. Is just what can we do to make Johnny angry?
Well, this one,
Which
I mean,
is
this one,
truly, it's
this
not
one-
hard.
well, this one's gonna make you angry because you're a moral, righteous person, and you're gonna be upset at it. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Let's see. Oh, this is so interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have what I'm
have to fi-
following.
I have to find that tweet. Where's that tweet? Browns fans are out of control. We need the NFL season to start right now so we can put them back in their miserable place. Josh, I never thought I'd be on this side of Steelers fans, but at this point, the Browns fans are out of control. They're just
Mm.
out of control. And I don't even
Listen,
understand.
All
I got
we're
it a couple
concerned
years
about-
ago when they won a playoff game against the Steelers, I'm like, okay, well, I get it. But this year, why? They're out here arguing that Amari Cooper's better than Jamar Chase, and that's foolishness. That doesn't need a response.
To the Cowboys every year.
Welcome to mental illness. That's mental illness
yes.
is what that is. He's not even better than T. Higgins.
No.
Anyway.
Okay. 49ers. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Huh. It must have got taken off. I may have to switch what I'm following. I can't find it.
What were you following?
There's a TikTok that Danielle sent me, but I can't find it anymore. Unless this is it.
I was gonna say that's why I have a
found
separate.
it. All right, we're good.
Oh, good. I was gonna say because I have a separate collection folder called "What I'm Following" that I just throw in case I forget everything.
Nice. Yeah, I found it. I forgot it was a slideshow. I was looking through like videos. I'm like, where is this? All right. I think I'm ready. If you guys are. Any questions about the show notes?
No, I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna basically for this one. I'm gonna give my prediction on how many wins the Steelers are gonna get this year based on their schedule.
Oh yeah, I'll pull that up. Yeah, I feel like today's just a lot of random topics.
Yeah.
More than like main focused thing.
Yeah, and we don't really need to spend a lot of time on the NBA just since we've been hitting that pretty heavy the last couple weeks, and we'll continue to do so.
Right, and those series will be 3 or 4 games in
Right.
when we have the next podcast.
Yeah,
so.
the NBA finals won't start till June 1st, so we have 2 weeks of just
Exactly.
these series. Yep.
Right, so we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about them.
Yeah.
Oh what? Oh gosh. Yeah. Let's talk about football expansion too because I'm upset again.
Yay!
All right. Well, I think I'm ready. If you guys are, yeah, we can.
I'm good.
I'm totally in the dark on that, Johnny. So I'll just let you carry that one.
Oh, yeah, I got it. I've been following all day.
Sweet. All right, I'll get it started. Check. All right, cool.
Check.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal podcast. My name is Aaron. I am joined, as always, by my good friends Josh and Johnny. We are back with episode 110. Gentlemen, it's good to be back with you, listeners and viewers. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you are enjoying this lovely May week. Josh, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Happy almost graduation, by the way.
Thank you. Wait, happy almost graduation?
Well, and by you, I mean you're running the graduation. So you're graduating eventually, but as I hear, you're basically running your school's graduation. That's what I'm hearing.
It would have fallen apart this past weekend without me.
I believe it. I believe it.
We got in. We got a bunch of people. Well, we gave a bunch of people. That was messy. But yeah, we gave a bunch of people cool empty tubes that represented a degree, which I think is really significant. I know I'd love to. I can't wait for next year when I just walk across the stage and I get my cool empty tube. Until it's a holdover until I get my cool piece of paper that says,
"Right,
I have been here for too long."
Yeah,
for just this piece of paper.
Right.
But it's made in Texas, so that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying no longer having to worry about all of those commencement details. I'm enjoying definitely one of the top 3 months out of the year.
Hey, May is good. I don't know what you're talking about. May is good. May's rated pretty well, I believe.
Did you rate it top 3? Did you rate it top 3?
Probably not top 3. I love the fall too much to make top 3, Josh. That's tough. That's it. It not being top 3 doesn't make it a bad month.
Out of 12, you're really pushing it past that, man.
Dude, September, October, and November are elite months. It is hard to beat them.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's hard to crack that top 3, man. It is tough.
It is, and the contents of today's episode you'll understand that we are yearning for those months.
Oh,
just
yearning.
Yep. Yearning. Yeah. Well, Josh, glad to hear you're doing well. Johnny, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Things are a little crazy. I'm in the midst of a move. So the next 2 months on this podcast, you'll see Johnny on the road. I'll just be all over the place recording.
I love that new segment.
Yeah, Johnny on the road. So if you've ever moved you get in that like weird time period where you're like, okay, I don't want to just eat out the last like 2 weeks that I'm in this place. And I have to make sure I eat all the food that's in my fridge. And at first you're like, this is great. This is fine. I'm like getting rid of all the food as I'm eating it as I go. But eventually you hit that line where you have enough food technically to eat meals, but it is a weird compilation of foods that you have left. And so right now we're in the weird part where like I have frozen chicken and pancakes, and like pop cereal in my pantry. So we're getting to that weird stage where there's technically enough sustenance for me to eat in my apartment, but these are some weird combinations, guys. So, my stomach is like, what on earth are you doing? And I don't know about you guys, but certain foods just don't go with other ones in my mind. So we're jumping some mental hurdles these coming weeks as we try to just clear that fridge out as much as we can, because you don't want to take it. You don't want to take it with you. So yeah, it's a little strange over here.
Yeah, so you've got food, but maybe the quality of life is not quite to where you will have it in a few weeks when you're all moved into the house. That's exciting. Well, yeah, looking forward to that for you. My week has been good. I've also been enjoying the sun and the outside, as maybe the folks on YouTube can attest. I'm a little burnt, but that's because I played tennis with Johnny for like 2 hours yesterday, which was a great time. Good workout. Trying to get that, that base layer, as they say, because, if you know me at all, I just fry at even the sight of sunshine, or even a picture of the sun can be dangerous for me. Moonburn, all real concerns. But something I'm following, guys, I'm going to give you what I'm following right off the top of the show, which is that allowed?
Gosh.
I don't know.
Oh.
But we, and by we, I mean my wife and I, have invited a new neighbor to our house. And there's a robin who, kind of like right underneath the awning of our little porch, has decided to put a nest there. And so we have welcomed this robin that we have named Bird. So we now have Bird, who has eggs and is sitting there very patiently and gives us this stink eye whenever we walk out the back porch. And so we're excited when Bird has birdlings, and I'll keep you guys updated, but very pumped about Bird. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we can have a Bird update every week, just you and me, listeners. So that's how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good. Spring's here. Honestly, summer's here pretty much. So with that, guys, NBA playoffs. I know we've been talking about it just about every week, but we are now in a new round. We are now, congratulations, everyone. We've made it to the conference finals. We are in the Final Four. Over in the East, the Miami Heat, the 8 seed, taking on the number 2 seed Boston Celtics, and over on the West, the number 7 seeded Los Angeles Lakers are taking on the Denver Nuggets. And if you're thinking to yourself, those teams, that seems kind of familiar. Like, why does that feel so similar to something I remember? Well, we talked about Mickey Mouse last week. We take you to Mickey Mouse time when the NBA was playing in Disney in the bubble, and that was the exact matchup we had with those 4 teams. Of course, it was the Lakers
Beautiful.
making it to the finals. It was the Miami Heat making it to the finals, and it was LeBron James claiming ring number 4. Will we see the same thing this year? Probably not, but there's always a possibility. Interesting series. But how did we get here? I feel like we got to talk about that. We were talking before the show started. We're not going to necessarily deep dive these matchups specifically because, number one, these are going to be going for 2 weeks. The first NBA Finals game is not for another 16 days as we're sitting down recording. So we have plenty of time to break down these series. And honestly, half the time it doesn't make sense to give you guys a big deep dive of a series when the first 2 games will be played before the show even comes out. But what we can do is look in the past. And what most recently happened in the past was a Game 7 between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. Of course, the Celtics grabbed Game 6 in Philadelphia to survive. They made it to Game 7. And Mr. Stephen Curry, your Game 7 point scoring record lasted all of 15 days because a guy named Jason Tatum, who had famously struggled in this series, dropped 51 points, and the Celtics cruised to a 125 100 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. Johnny, this Sixers team simply cannot get over this playoff hurdle, specifically the Celtics. That's always been a problem for them. But this round, game 7, you name it, it has been a struggle, and the playoff woes continue.
They're going to have a lot of questions this offseason, too. You know, we've already seen a couple coaches fired on really, really good teams. Budenholzer fired from the Milwaukee Bucks, and then Monty Williams with the Phoenix Suns. You know, really, really good teams, but the expectations are higher than that. And while those guys seem like fantastic culture and foundational coaches, they could not make in-game and in-series adjustments when they were needed. And that's what you're seeing out of these coaches that have really made it to the Final Four. They have been able to tweak and make adjustments from game to game within the series. Darvin Ham, I think, in the Lakers has just been absolutely phenomenal, shockingly so for a rookie head coach. Eric Spoelstra might be the best coach in the league,
He's
guys.
incredible.
Like, we just don't talk about him. And it's kind of frustrating that we don't talk about him because he is a brilliant coach. The Heat do this consistently. And no Tyler Hero on this team right now. Like, this is outstanding what he's been doing. It's a master class. I mean, it took Jalen Brunson going nuclear for that series to even go 6 games.
Yep.
So, I mean, all hats off to him. When it comes to 76ers, like, you know, Doc Rivers is similar. I think he seems like a really solid guy, great culture dude. The Sixers and Philly it felt like it settled once he got there because they were able to get Ben Simmons out of there eventually. But things calmed down, I felt like, when he got there. But he just doesn't make adjustments in game that are necessary now to win these close series. He's awful in these clinchers and in these game 7s. And James Harden, are you going to sign him to a big, big extension when, we talked about it, Aaron, last episode, they won 2 games purely based on James Harden, but he was so awful in the other ones. You couldn't overcome it. I had a lot of problems, as many people did, with Embiid's post-game comments too. One, you're the leader. You're the MVP. Take ownership. That's what leaders do. Whether it is your fault or not, you take the ownership. 2, you can't bring James along with you like that. That is the exact definition. There should be a picture of that quote in, like, ruining team chemistry. Like, how to divide a locker room, a how-to book. That would be step 1. Like, you can't do that. Also, him quoting Giannis, you can't. It's not the same thing. Yeah. You've never even made a conference finals.
Yep. Giannis is a champion.
Giannis has won a championship. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So they're stuck. They really have to find a way to get off that Tobias Harris contract. Doc Rivers probably needs to go. I would not re-sign James Harden unless I could do a sign and trade, which basically means I'm keeping Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and everything else is on the table.
Yep.
If I'm the Sixers.
Yep.
And which basically means next year is going to be a kind of a resetting year. Not a rebuild, because Embiid's too good for a full rebuild, but it'll be a reset year for the Sixers because you have to. And it's so disappointing. Aaron, you said you can't get past the Celtics. And I don't see them getting over that anytime soon because Jason Tatum should be getting more consistent. And he had some, we talked about James Harden's bad games in this series. Jason Tatum has had some awful games, and especially awful halves in this series. And I mean, this was the year really for Philly to beat them because, you normally can't get away with those performances and still win a series from your best player. And Philly still let Boston get away with it, as they often do.
The difference between Jason Tatum and James Harden when they had bad games is Jason Tatum had plenty of bad games this series. Plenty. Shot really overall pretty poorly. Obviously, Game 7, that was magnificent. But if you're just looking at the series as a whole, had some really big stinkers. But think about it. In Game 6, when the season was on the line, when the Celtics were down, He was like 1 of 12, but hit 3 threes and got them to that game 7. He also rebounded almost 10 boards a game. When James Harden is having a bad game, he kills you because he doesn't hustle. He doesn't play defense. His missed shots are dribble, 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 dribble. Hesitate. Okay, I'm going to shoot. And then it's way off. Or he does that and he passes. He throws the rhythm of the whole team way off. Jason Tatum, I'll give him a lot of credit. Yes, he needs to get more consistent. That's what killed him in the finals against the Golden State Warriors. Not sure they were going to win that series anyways. But I think you're right, Johnny. I think he's only like 25. He's ridiculous. Yeah. The talent is insane.
You just got to be a little more assertive.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really Jason's problems. And you're like, well, he was, Johnny. He was like 113. And I'm like, it's not so much during the course of the game I need to see him more assertive. I need to see him down the stretch, close game. The Celtics have the largest point differential in the entire league this regular season. But I need to see, I know they can blow people out. The Celtics, if they make the NBA Finals, it doesn't matter if they play the Nuggets or Lakers. They'll probably have a home game where they win by 25 points.
Right.
It'll happen. I know they can do that. 2-point game, 3 minutes to go. Can you win that? And can you win without giving Marcus Smart the last shot in the game? I love Marcus. He's a really good player. But you need to be taking that shot. Like 90% of the time, you need to be taking that shot. And I just need to see Jason be a little more assertive. He's not a finished product, though, Aaron. Just like you said, he's only 25. We're just saying we need to see that. We need to see that continue to evolve.
Yeah. James
Harden is a finished product. So that's the difference in this conversation where James is
declining,
going
product,
down.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. Jason still is getting better. So I hope he's able to become more assertive towards the end of games, take ownership there. I thought game 6 was a good step in the right direction with that. As you mentioned, Aaron, he didn't lose all of his confidence. And when his team needed him most in the fourth quarter, he still was willing to take those shots. So that was a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I'll move over to the West. I want to talk about that Denver Phoenix series a little bit. When I saw the news that Monty Williams was fired, my first reaction was, oh, interesting. Because Monty Williams led the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1992-93, where Charles Barkley was, of course, kind of the key focal point there. He's the first person to get the Suns to 3 straight postseason appearances since Mike D'Antoni. You got to go way back to the Steve Nash days. And the Suns set a franchise record with 64 wins in the 2021-22 season. But then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. Because, guys, there have been 4 games in NBA history where a team facing elimination has been down by 30 points at halftime. And the Suns are 2 of those spots, and they've done both of those in the last 2 seasons, both at home. How do you let that happen? DeAndre Ayton, a former number 1 pick, has arguably regressed. You leverage the future of this team with the Kevin Durant trade. I understand why you did it. You should pull the trigger if you think you have a championship window. But Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson show that they are budding stars in Brooklyn. The Suns have 1 first-round pick in the next 4 years. And the player you traded for to help get you over the top in Kevin Durant was a big no-show in games 5 and 6. Yes, I know in the box score it's going to show he had 29 points per game. But he did it on 45% shooting, shot 139 times across the 6 games of the series, and went 22% from 3. He didn't hit a 3 in the last 2 games, and you're talking about the player that currently ranks 21 overall in most three-pointers made in his career. He disappeared. If LeBron had the kind of game in Game 6 like Kevin Durant had, he finished 8 for 19. That alone is not good, but he made a bunch of shots in garbage time. He was basically 2 for 12 with 4 turnovers. If LeBron James would have done that, we would have been killing him. We would have just been destroying LeBron. And yes, Kevin Durant's getting some criticism, and it's fair. But Chris Paul, you can't rely on his health. The Suns are certainly still in the picture of the West, but if they have another season like this where they have another postseason disaster, what is Phoenix going to do? because this is the future. And if it doesn't work now, that's going to be really difficult for Phoenix Suns fans to stomach.
Yeah, Aaron, I think when it comes to picks for the NBA championship, I think I'm the only one still alive to get any points at all.
Yeah,
which is
if you guys had to pick, if you guys had to
Denver
repick
Nuggets,
right? If you guys had to repick, what would your championship matchup be?
I feel pretty good about the Heat actually, which is probably insane, but I really like the Heat. I actually have a lot of trouble with Denver and the Lakers. I actually those were the two teams I was debating when I was trying to pick who would come out of the West.
Yeah.
I know everybody liked the Warriors and liked the Suns, but I kind of saw these issues with the Suns, and they played the worst team possible, a team with the depth of the Denver Nuggets, who are actually very healthy so far this year. I think this series, I am going to sit down tonight with a nice ice cold drink and watch that game because I am so excited to see the Nuggets and Lakers play. Jokic and AD. I mean, I love these breakout stars for the Lakers. They're so fun to watch. There's joy in how they play.
Yeah.
Like there is this togetherness that you can really see when an NBA team especially is together. It's so obvious. It's not, you can see it in football too, but you're not wearing helmets. Facial expressions are so overanalyzed even half the time in NBA. The meme of the NBA's gone 0 days without being unnecessarily dramatic is very correct. But you can see that there's some, ever since this trade with D'Angelo Russell out there and, Rui Hachimura and all these guys, like they really are enjoying playing together. And so I'm really excited to watch them play. I know LeBron, quick little side note here. When people are criticizing LeBron, it is honestly hilarious at this point because, and this is not like me trying to be a LeBron homeboy, but think about it. Like when you're criticizing him at this point, you're criticizing LeBron as 28-year-old LeBron.
Right.
Like you're comparing him to himself. He's literally a victim of his own success at this point. He's averaging 24 and 9 a night. And we're like, where was LeBron tonight? Where's LeBron tonight? The man is in NBA years ancient. And he's still one of the best players on the court. And when he wants to be, he's still the best player on the court. He just doesn't have the fastball for the entirety of the game. And that's okay because you saw in game 6, he unleashed it on Golden State. And they
from
were
the
done.
Opening minutes, you're like, oh my gosh. Oh no.
This man is just saving it as he goes. And we're going to see it again in this Denver series. Maybe not right out of the gates. He just knows he's pacing himself. The NBA playoffs take so long. It's a marathon. And he understands his body better than anyone and is being very wise about this. If AD stays healthy, I got to go with the Lakers. So I'm going Heat Lakers.
Oh.
The Mickey Mouse Championship rematch, man. All those Twitter haters, they're crying right now. They can't believe that it's real. Yeah. It's the exact
We've
same
been trying
matchup.
to tell you guys.
Oh man, guys, that everybody's saying that it was easier than ever. It was harder than ever. You had no support system. You're by yourself, man. These aren't college kids that are like, yeah, I just get to hoop for a month and a half. No, these are grown men with families who miss their kids and their wives. They have lives outside of basketball, and you're kind of locking them up almost for a month and a half. And you can play basketball, but you can't go anywhere else, unless you're James Harden trying to sneak off.
Oh my gosh. Classic James. Josh, if you had to repick, because we'll for the purpose of this episode, we'll just kind of conveniently forget the teams that you picked that may or may not have not made it out of the first round. You weren't the only one. I had the Bucks winning the whole thing, but if you had to repick, what would you pick?
Yeah, I'm repicking right now. I like Miami.
Ooh.
I like all the teams.
Josh.
All right.
I do.
Yes.
It'd be so much fun.
Can you imagine an 8 seed winning the whole thing?
Wouldn't that be so much fun?
I love it.
Wouldn't that be so much fun?
Oh.
Man, the Ohioan in me is still leaning towards anything with LeBron in it because I'll be
Mhm.
honest,
Amen.
past calendar year or 5 have not been great for Ohio memes. We're the butt of all the jokes. Now we are fine. We are fine to take it. Hey, Indiana, you're welcome. Because if
Yeah,
once
true.
once the coasts figure out that you guys exist, it's over.
That's the problem, Josh. That we get mocked. They don't even know they're there. So
Exactly.
what's worse?
I'd rather listen.
Yeah, you can never say Ohio is not relevant, right?
Yeah, that's
Always
very
relevant.
true.
So
Very
the,
true.
The Ohioan in me is always. This is still a little bit of an Ohio against the world, even though LeBron's over in LA. So there's always that pseudo home team. But man, Miami's fun. I think it'd be a lot of
Oh,
fun. to
they're
see
so
them.
fun. I love
Yeah,
It'd
Jimmy
be a lot of
Butler.
fun.
The
But you know
Nuggets
what?
have to be like the most low key 1 seed ever, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually my pick. I've got Nuggets over Celtics in 7
Oh wow, okay.
because
Okay.
I'd love to see the Nuggets win. That would
That'd be
be
fun,
awesome.
it is partially what you're
Celtics are
saying,
the
though,
only
Johnny.
team I don't really want to win. Like the Celtics are pretty much the only of the 4 that I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
If any of the other 3 teams win, I'd be like, great, that's fun.
I cannot tell you guys enough. And if you haven't been watching, I do encourage you to tune into the Nuggets at some point during this playoff run. Nikola Jokic is just incredible. He looks like the dude, now he's 7 foot. Let's ignore the part where he's 7 foot, 280. Let's pretend he's a normal height. Outside of his height, he looks like a normal dude you just plucked off the street. And he's like this athletic, strong ballerina who just twirls and flips the ball over his head and has the best touch for any big man I think I have ever seen. And yes, he shoots the 3, but his just, oh my gosh, it's incredible. He doesn't even jump. His rebounds, he doesn't even jump. He just kind of like, just kind of lunges at it, but like tips it perfectly to a teammate. His passing is insane. It's mind blowing for a guy of his size. His skill is crazy. And he just kind of lumbers up and down the court. Like Johnny knows I've loved Jokic for a long time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now like he's in this stage and he has finally the support that he needs. Like injuries have plagued this Nuggets team across multiple playoffs. This is the first time we've seen Jamal Murray in 2 seasons. And oh, by the way, he's looked a lot like bubble Jamal Murray. So again, hey, maybe the bubble was real basketball. Who'd have thought? You know, so I love this Nuggets team. I love their depth. This team is perfectly suited for what they do. Jokic has made everyone look at, if you want to take, there's so many examples, right? Bruce Brown has bounced around the league all over the place, and you plug him into this Denver system. Mike Malone deserves a ton of credit. Jokic makes everyone on the court better. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, a former champion with the Lakers, having his best season by far on this Denver Nuggets team. And there's so many other examples. Aaron Gordon is a perfect example. Has filled in a role that is absolutely perfectly suited for him and made Kevin Durant's life absolutely miserable. I love this team. I do think the Lakers are tough because I said it last week. If Anthony Davis is healthy, it's hard to see the Lakers not winning a championship. But it's also hard to see the Nuggets not win a championship when Jokic is playing as well as he has. And when you get the contributions from the role players and guys like Jamal Murray, man, I'm with you, Johnny. Enjoy this series.
They called me a madman. They called me a madman when I picked the 1 seed in the West to make the finals.
Yep. So, and Josh, I'm with
I
you. The
agree.
Heat have been unbelievable. That Heat culture is just insane. I do think the Celtics win. I would have actually picked the Heat over the Sixers. I think they would have matched up against them way better. The Celtics, I think, are a bit, because think about it. The Heat would have out hustled the Sixers like crazy. They're not going to do that to the Celtics, a team with Marcus Smart and Derek White and all these guys that fill a lot of similar. It's similar culture in that way.
Yeah.
The Heat aren't just going to get 10 extra points against the Sixers for hustling like they will against the Celtics. All that being said,
Aaron, I just wanted the Sixers to bring Ben Simmons back for that series, like potentially, and Jimmy Butler just to absolutely destroy him. Like just that man would never pick up another basketball again if that series had happened.
well, you guys
Jimmy
may
Butler would have been just he would have been dropping 40 a game on Philly.
Yeah, well, he probably would have done that anyways. You guys probably saw Ben Simmons had like that kind of casual, I don't know why, like why Ben
You're at
Simmons?
home, man.
Yeah,
You're at home.
You're going to be signed for the veteran minimum next year, but he's literally takes a picture of his house and watching the Sixers and they're down like 30 or whatever. And like, okay, Ben, I don't know what you're trying to say because you haven't. I don't know.
They're still better without you.
Yeah,
They're still. we just
Yeah.
complained about James Harden. He's still a million times better than having you on the team.
Mhm.
It's not even close. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah,
I hope you're having
No,
fun in
not sorry.
Cancun.
Step up.
yeah, yeah. Josh and I have combined for about as many minutes as he's played the last 3 years. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Now, all we have to do is find a way to get paid the same.
good point.
It's true. So who's the real loser here?
Halfway there.
I think it's
the guy
us
who's getting
still.
paid all that to be at home.
Right,
Uh,
or us not getting paid anything to also
Matching,
not play basketball.
matching the court time actually really easy.
Yeah.
People don't tell you that it's really easy to match Ben Simmons on court percentage.
Yeah,
What is difficult?
Also free throw
is
percentage.
matching his pay rate for that.
Mm.
So
that's
I
some good
don't-
insight.
I gotta find a new manager.
Yeah, get a better agent, Josh. All right. Again.
I'll get Lamar Jackson's agent.
Oh yeah, good thinking. Hey, work for him, man. He got paid.
You got that.
All right. Speaking of NFL, that's a good segue. And speaking
welcome.
of money, you're gonna need some money if you're gonna want to watch every single playoff game this year in the NFL. It was announced today. It is trending #1 on Twitter. I can use words. Twitter. There it is.
Twatter.
Nailed it.
That Peacock will be exclusively streaming the Saturday night NFL wildcard game. I feel like this is something that we should just retroactively put in jail. I actually don't have too
Yeah.
many words about this because I think it fits in the theme of just what is happening in sports with all this streaming stuff. It's just, this is taking it to a higher level, right? Like, yeah, Peacock has Sunday morning baseball that's exclusive. Like, I think it starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So,
Kind of fun.
yeah, whatever. It's a new thing, but it's not a thing you're probably super torn up about, right? Like, if you're like, oh man, I don't want to pay for that. Well, just don't. There's a bunch of other regular season games. This is a little different. If your team is playing in the wild card or you just like watching the NFL playoffs, you're going to have to shell out some money as opposed to watching it on TV, which again, I get you pay for, but this feels a little different. But this is also the reality of where sports are going.
Or just start watching the English Premier League like me, and you'd already have Peacock,
Ah.
and then you don't have to worry about it.
Be fine.
It's also only like $5 a month,
Yeah,
so
right.
at least it's on the cheaper side.
Yes.
But I'm sure that'll go up now that all
Once
these
they know.
rights deals have been signed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, this is what we talked about with baseball. Is I can't guarantee. We talked about this last year, where baseball was splitting up all of their sources for watching.
Yep.
I can't guarantee. And again, it's a one-off. Oh, it's just the wild card game, correct?
Correct. As of right now, that's probably
right
subject
now.
to change. But yes.
So, just like when the NFL experimented with throwing two crap teams over at some random stadium in London, like feels like probably 5 or 6 years ago, throwing Jaguars and Jets over there because that's a great.
Jaguars
idea.
are literally always there.
Right. Jaguars are just always there. Now they're
Eventually
fine.
they'll just
now they're
stay.
okay.
Yes.
So it can be fun.
Right.
But remember, it happened 5 or 6 years ago. They just did it once,
Mhm.
just to see if it could happen, if there was any money there. And my fear is, following the trends,
Yeah.
they're most likely doing the same thing. They're going to see if there's any. They're going to test the water and see if there's anything there. And I'm hoping that there isn't, because what the NFL is going to be motivated to do is to add yet a fourth or fifth source. You already have
yeah.
all of these rights. The NFL, for as few games as there are, relatively speaking, compared to MLB, compared to the NBA, compared to frankly just college football, they have a really big. I'd say their accessibility issues are probably the worst proportionally of any of the other major sports that people would watch, because I don't have. I mean, I'm a classic millennial. I steal my parents' Peacock accounts.
Mhm.
Like a true American. And if you are a Peacock executive, no, you didn't hear that.
Right. A different streaming.
But also
service.
thank you for watching, for listening. Or if you're watching on YouTube, hey, but I'm worried that they're going to add yet a fifth or what is this, probably sixth source of NFL content.
Apple will get in there. Don't worry, Josh.
Exactly. And my fear is that we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with baseball, where no one person can watch it, and overall attendance is just going to be, yeah. I'm not thrilled. It's not going to do the things that they want it to do, or it will in the worst way.
Josh, you're right. I think the difference is the NFL can get away with it because of how wildly popular it is.
Exactly.
You're right about the
exactly
accessibility.
right.
It's bad in the sense that your price per game, if you will, is super high. If you're like me, someone living in Ohio whose favorite team is Detroit, in theory, if I want to watch every game, I either have to go to B-Dubs every week, which, yes, please sponsor me, or I get NFL Sunday Ticket, which is moved to YouTube TV and is in the hundreds of dollars. Obviously, you divide that by 13 or so, because the Lions are actually going to be on national television this year. That's a chunk of change. Even baseball, my friend Matt was reminding me of a really good, and by good I mean painfully bad, video of a guy who lived in Atlanta and decided to calculate, hey, how much money would I have to spend to watch all 162 Braves games on television? And the answer is conservatively $700. And that was from someone who was living in the state of where his team played. That was if you have to have some provider that gives you the regional sports network. There's Peacock, there's Apple TV, there's ESPN, there's TBS. And Josh, I think you're absolutely right. Because think about it. Peacock, owned by NBC. NBC has Sunday night, so that's kind of their funnel. CBS has their thing, and Paramount Plus. Fox is weird, but I'm sure they'll find a way to do something.
They'll find something.
Yeah, ESPN has ESPN Plus.
Fox,
that's already a thing
Fox
that they're
Prime or
doing.
whatever.
ESPN Plus has an exclusive game for the second time this season. Not a playoff game, but a regular season game. I think maybe it is actually one of those games that is overseas. So I have no disagreements with what you're saying, Josh. I think that's absolutely the direction. It stinks for fans who, again, are maybe they're like us and don't have the money to just spend hundreds of dollars watching sports, or just don't want to. I get it. There's only so much I can say because this is the direction of where things are going, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Like you said, the NFL can get away with this. They are still king as far as consistent revenue goes. They have young, rising talents. The old guard has gone out, and the new guard has come in extremely smoothly. With all of the new stars we're seeing, teams are getting younger and faster. Teams that historically have been not great are getting decent. Like, I'm genuinely interested to see what Anthony Richardson does with the Colts. I'm interested to see how, obviously, how Kenny Pickett does. Spoiler alert: I'm picking about 10 wins. I think that's totally
big news, breaking news, Josh, for your Steelers.
Breaking news. I might even flex up.
Guess who's back in Pittsburgh?
I might flex up to say what?
Said guess who's back in Pittsburgh?
Wait, what happened? What did I miss?
It's everyone's favorite. Mason Rudolph is back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
He might start this year, Josh.
That's so much fun. Isn't that great?
Josh, I hate the Steelers. My prediction's 10 wins as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, no, this is Mason, go away. Please, why are you here?
Well, he's back.
He's fine. But I'm excited to see how the Jaguars do things. I mean, there are a lot of teams, and this is good and bad for the NFL. Good is you're gonna have a lot more fans interested. Their teams, for the most part, did you watch that Tennessee Titans video where they were having random passerbys on Nashville? Fantastic. Their marketing departments.
That cost them $5 to make.
$5 to make. I loved it. The Lions were doing that on TikTok. Their marketing team was just you know what? As long as it's not actually offensive to people, do anything else. The Bears were starting to experiment with that. There was another team that was doing that. That was doing it pretty well.
Josh, my favorite was the two different sets of girls that were convinced that the Colts logo was the Cowboys.
Oh,
that was my absolute favorite.
It was so good. It's just so great.
They were so confident. That's why it was the best.
You have to. I mean, but
it's so
on
good.
the flip side, the curl of the monkey's claw, if you will. The NFL knows now they have a young viewer base. and this young viewer base may not have all the same. So in one sense, great, throw a game on Peacock because again, they're probably also stealing it from their parents. But two, it gives them leeway to do what they want because they know they have a viewer base that's going to care and going to at least try to watch.
Yeah.
And they're good enough at blocking all of those like copywritten, like bootlegged live streams that they're going to ensure their money comes through.
Yeah. I mean, there's also, I say like, oh, this is tough for the fans who have to pay extra money to watch their teams. Josh, you're right. There is a reality where, hey, we're actually paying for all these services anyways for all of our different shows. We just don't want to admit it.
Exactly.
So that's also a reality here.
I was gonna
I'm
say, people
probably
are also-
portraying
yeah.
one side of the argument here.
Oh,
but
sure.
Yeah.
Because it is also fair to say there's a chance that they might move over to Peacock versus keeping things on NBC because not now.
They're
but
not
think-
changing Sunday Night
15.
Football. You
But
can't
think-
afford to.
But
move that.
eventually,
Not yet, but eventually, yes.
5, 10 years?
You got to think. I mean, if I'm an exec,
Yeah.
I'm thinking 15. I'm thinking 15, 20 years in the future. What you're seeing
Yeah,
is the
my
people
parents are
only-
going to have to be gone by the time they do that because
And
they're never
brutally-
watching on Peacock unless I'm home.
Brutally speaking, exactly. But you have to start the precedent now. I do this all the time when I'm working with music and I'm working with trying to change the musical tide of a church or our music here on campus. You have to have a 5 to 10 year plan. And it is so, what you do is you make it so subtle. You make these changes so subtly that no one notices. And so what we started 3 years ago when I started here, you start with buying a drum set. Don't use the drum set, buy the drum set, put it on the stage, but still have the traditional hymns. And you get that idea. And then once or twice a month, you put a drummer on.
who just hits one
now-
cymbal.
who just sits there and just looks at it longingly,
Yeah.
no drumsticks. 3 years later, now we're doing full bands pretty much every week, but you have to do it slowly and gradually. That way, your traditional viewer base does not freak out. So Peacock, I'm not on the pro Peacock side. I want to make that clear. But as like someone who has had to deal with this trying to anticipate cultural changes and seeing that streaming is here to stay, at least for now, and traditional legacy media outlets are going to start following, the reality is they're probably going to put 2 or 3 or more games on Peacock because they know that's where the viewership is going to be anyway. And the boomer population, they're going to start phasing out of that marketing, and they're going to start investing in Millennial and Gen Z and Gen X, who are going to more likely own a streaming service. So it makes great financial and business sense to them. Not thrilled about it, but that is what's going to happen. And so I don't predict Sunday Night Football lasting 20 years.
Not on NBC at least.
Not on
I'll say
NBC.
this too. Think about the two companies that have the most money in theory for this: Amazon and Google.
Yeah.
What do they have? They don't have TV channels. They have streaming services. You have Amazon
Right.
Prime. You have YouTube. So when it comes to these ginormous TV deals, if we're talking 5-10 years in the future, will the TV companies actually be more suited for throwing down billions of dollars, or will it be Google and Amazon? We've seen it with Amazon. They have the Thursday night games. So this isn't like, again, this isn't this new concept. Josh, I think you're hitting on an important note here that things could change faster than we think. I'm willing to say that in 5 to 10 years, if NBC is no longer carrying Sunday Night Football, I won't be shocked if it's moved to a streaming service. I really won't. Technology moves fast, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll all be watching it in VR, or maybe AI will just be telling us what. I don't know. Who knows? It's
Aaron,
it's
if
wild
in
out there.
5 years they have all this in VR, they will half their audience. So I hope they don't do that.
I know.
I'm not
watched-
talking about us. I'm not talking
I
about
know,
us.
I
But
know.
if you're over 60, they will never
Oh,
wear
I know.
a headset to watch a sport.
Right.
There's too much money at stake to lose those viewers too.
Mhm.
So I agree with you guys. It'll change, but that's the careful balancing act that I
Mhm.
think they're trying to do.
Oh.
Because if they didn't have to, they'd move it all onto streaming services tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
if the money's there.
everybody else doesn't want. Well, but that's
I
my
was gonna
point,
say, 'cause
Josh.
the
The
money's
money's,
not- the money's not
not
there.
there because beyond our age, really, they do not want to do that. Again,
Let's say
I tell my parents, "Oh, it's on this." If I'm not home, they're not
not gonna-
figuring it out. And I know many parents are much better than mine.
Oh, of course.
but they want to be able to flip on at minimum YouTube TV type of thing,
Right.
and then find the game. They
What I'll
don't want to.
also say-
Oh, what app is that on?
That's
like,
fair,
they
and
hate
that's
that.
completely fair.
They
Yeah.
are antagonistic towards it. They're
Right.
not just meh. They hate it.
Yeah.
What I will say to your point too, Johnny, did you guys, it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, Aaron, you know this a little bit. Are you guys watching Love is Blind?
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
No. You,
Nope,
you
you're back
froze,
now.
You froze at the exact
Josh has to
same
stop
moment that I
asking that
paused the
question.
Yeah,
third
I'm-
time's a charm.
It's good on my
That's so
end.
interesting. Interesting. So did you, I'm not going to ask the question again. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I've heard it both times. I've heard everything.
Well, I'll
it
just
is
say-
on mine because my OBS keeps reconnecting and connecting. I don't know. what this
Oh,
stupid
weird. Okay.
computer's
We
doing.
can hold off for a sec if you need to check if you need
I mean,
to
I
do some
can't
troubleshooting.
really do anything about it. We're live now. I don't
Okay.
think we've ever lost our stream.
Yeah. You're looking a little bit more clear now, so
Okay.
that helps.
Maybe I'm good.
I'll
Try
go
it one
ahead-
more time.
yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Fourth time's a charm.
Yep.
So is your household watching or try to watch that live stream on Netflix of Love is Blind? It's that live premiere.
I personally did not, but my household, yes.
That's what I was. Okay, I
Yes.
figured. And they had a massive blackout
Yep.
because so many millions of people turned on Netflix to try and stream this. And Netflix, I would say, is still one of the most powerful,
Oh yeah.
I would say most well resourced at this point streaming platforms. They have the servers to handle all of this bandwidth. They've not done this type of like live launch before, but they've launched, Stranger Things and had to deal with the server load.
hmm
They absolutely could not handle a live stream.
Yeah.
And
My favorite
so-
part
and
about that
that's-
too
and
is they
that's
issued
Netflix,
the apology was like your tip, like would be us, like, hey, sorry guys, Aaron was up too late Tuesday night and didn't edit, so here's the episode on Thursday. It was basically that message, like your classic,
Oh, yeah.
oh, sorry, I didn't get an episode out.
Oopsie. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Classic tech company. Oh,
Yeah.
we're so personal. And it's like some, billionaire CEO. Anyway.
Right.
And so the future of streaming, and that's why NBC is probably not going to move to Peacock yet, because they will not, there is not the infrastructure in place right now to handle mass streaming. Wildcard game.
We'll
makes
find out.
sense. Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully a wildcard game makes sense and they're able to
Yeah,
build
We'll
up.
find out.
I was gonna say NBC as legacy media probably has the money, has the resourcing to get the server space needed. Whether or not they have the technical know-how to keep
They'll
it up
test
is
it on
another
college
question.
football too, Josh.
Exactly.
True.
But yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not gonna be able to stream like mass exclusively stream things like the Super Bowl quite yet because it's not the kinks aren't 100% worked out. Getting better, but it's not and especially if you lose the Super Bowl,
That's a
Love
bad
is Blind
day.
is just one thing. You lose a significant playoff game, that is years. That is years of bad press that you're going to have to work back.
Yeah.
So they're going to do this slowly and carefully if this is in fact the direction they believe that it is going to go.
Yeah. No, you're right. Speaking of Peacock, Johnny, your favorite soccer league is there and it's almost done. Would you give us a quick recap of how your favorite team has let you down just horribly?
Well, as the British would say, Arsenal's bottled it down the stretch here. So Arsenal lost on Sunday and Manchester City won, both in the 3-0 variety. So the title race is not technically done mathematically, but it is really pretty much done at that point. Man City taking first place. Arsenal is locked in there at second pretty much. So that is how it will finish. So they'll still be playing Champions League. It looks like Newcastle is pretty much locked in at third, although Manchester United is tied with them. And Liverpool, after winning today, is right behind them. Newcastle and Manchester United both have 66 points. Liverpool has 65 after winning today against Leicester City, but they have played an additional game, or a game in hand, if you will. There are 2 games left for most teams in the season, so we'll have to see how it finishes up. It's still been a great year for Arsenal, so I really can't complain. If you would have said that they finished just second in the league, getting back to the Champions League, I would have been really, really happy. Just being in first and kind of falling down the stretch to the champions is rough to watch. But yes, that last spot, if you will, for the Champions League is really a fun watch right now with Liverpool, Manchester United, and Newcastle fighting it out for 2 spots between the 3 teams. Relegation is usually my favorite thing to be following at this time of year. Southampton, with their losses, is now locked into that last spot, and they will be getting relegated. They are mathematically done. So they are adrift. Yes, I'm throwing all these British words out there because British announcers and analysts are way better and more colorful in their announcing and vocabulary than Americans. But again, we have several teams duking it out for survival in the relegation zone. So right now, after Leicester losing to Liverpool today, at 19th, they are sitting there and they only have 30 points. Leeds United, with lots of Americans on that team, including Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie, they are at 31. So currently those would be the other 2 squads to get relegated and drop down to the next level. But Everton is only at 32 points, just above them. And you have Nottingham Forest at 34 points. So we have a very tight race. I'm really hoping that Nottingham Forest can survive. Again, 2 games left. It is down to the wire with these teams. Everyone else above Nottingham Forest at this point, you're pretty much safe. But it is a wild ride. There's been so many coaches who have been fired. Some of them have some squads have fired 2 or 3 coaches this season. I love the Premier League because these teams just fighting for survival will throw millions of dollars at it, and new managers just doing whatever it takes to survive. Everton would be one of the biggest clubs to be relegated in a long time. So sorry, Everton, I'm kind of cheering for that for the sake of Nottingham Forest and Leeds. So it's going to be a blast. If you do enjoy some dramatic, if you follow the Sickos Committee, I feel like this is right up your alley. So follow some Premier League soccer down the stretch, some relegation. We need relegation in all sports.
I agree.
That'd be so much fun.
It's got to start with college football for sure.
Start with college football.
Yeah. There is some movement happening in college football. We don't have time to talk about it today, maybe next week, but the ACC, basically there's like 7 schools in the ACC that are like, hey, we're actually good and you want us if you're expanding. That's essentially what's happening. We'll dive into that more potentially next week, especially if there's more traction on that particular story. There's also other stories happening per usual. John Morant is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Hey.
We'll see what the fallout of that. Yep, that's not great. Josh, your 2-week-long turmoil will end tonight with Game 7 between the Dallas Stars and the Seattle Kraken.
Know what to do with this.
It would.
Release
This series
the
would go
Kraken.
7.
Peter
wouldn't it?
DeBoer is 6-0 in Game 7 matches,
Ooh,
which is a great precedent.
yeah.
The Seattle has the highest 5-on-5 efficiency
Yes.
this season.
Yep, they're crazy.
I do not know. Ottinger has not really shown up. I mean, there are multiple. This has been a weird shootout style, like tournament.
Yeah, really high
anyway.
scoring. Yeah.
But like, yeah. So there is so many angles to this. I do not know. I think Seattle's like plus 176 to win.
Okay.
The last time I checked the line, which is relatively significant, but yeah, home ice advantage has not really played a part this year, so it is genuinely anyone's game. We're gonna, I'm gonna go look at the skylight. They're gonna light everything up green tonight, which is always fun. But I genuinely do not know what's gonna happen tonight. They're gonna kick off in literally 2 minutes.
Yep.
So we'll have a good time.
Yeah, it'll
Or
be
not.
fun. Winner plays the Vegas Golden Knights. The East is set in the NHL as well. You've got
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make my official stance now. I do
Yes,
not
do
want
it.
2 expansion teams playing for each other. playing each
Okay,
other.
fair.
That doesn't feel great. I would rather at least one
Seattle.
non.
Go Seattle.
yeah.
Release the Kraken.
I'm
Release
usually
the
with you
Kraken.
because our expansion franchise that's now 24 years old, I think, is
No expansion team wins again until ours does.
right.
No, we suck. Like, we don't deserve it.
I'm not saying we deserve it this year. We don't deserve it this year, of course.
The fans deserve it. The
The fans
organization
deserve it.
doesn't.
We as humans deserve it.
Yeah.
And Columbus residents.
Carolina, Florida, the two teams in the East. So you're going to get, honestly, all four franchises, some a little older than others, but you don't have like your traditional, original
No.
six. Like these are all really recent teams. So
Take that, Blue Bloods.
good for them. Panthers
Yeah.
have just done
Suck it,
incredible
Canada.
work. So yeah, once again, Canada taking it on the chin. I think their non-Stanley Cup streak has extended to, it's in the 20s, I believe. It's a long time. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I may not
Stop
be.
being so nice.
I guess, yeah.
Might get you somewhere.
Well, speaking of the NHL, last week, and if you stayed all the way to the end of the episode, you heard our heartbreaking reactions to the Blue Jackets not winning the NHL draft lottery. They finished with the third spot overall. The Chicago Blackhawks won the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, and Johnny and I correctly predicted that. So the scoreboard reads myself with 61 points in first place. In second place, Johnny with 56, and Josh at 54. This week, the NCAA softball tournament kicks off. Love this tournament. It's super fun. You've got this kind of fun regional round, then the super regionals, then the College World Series. The baseball tournament that kicks off in a couple weeks will also follow a similar format, but we're picking it. There's 64 teams. I encourage you to watch it. Softball's awesome, high paced,
So much fun.
incredible talent all across the field on all these different sites. Oklahoma is the clear favorite to win it. I said, nope, that's boring. Not picking that. I'm going to go with the Florida State Seminoles, who are also very, very skilled. They're the number 3 overall seed. They are hosting a regional. I'm picking the Seminoles to win a championship, foreshadowing a good Florida State football season potentially coming around the corner in a few months. Maybe they'll just get the good vibes going for Florida State athletics.
I like UCLA. That's who I'm going to pick simply because it just, I don't know. There's just something that
Big Ten
fits
pride.
nicely. Big Ten pride, exactly. Home team advantage. yes.
Midwest pride.
Midwest pride. Yeah,
Oh,
where's the
I
Bush
hate it
Light?
here.
Um,
I hate it here.
we got to save it. We're saving that anger for next week, Johnny.
Okay.
This week, I'm picking the home team. UCLA, 54-4, which is not terrible by my estimations going into this tournament. And man, I don't know, UCLA and softball. I don't know. It just sounds right now. It just sounds
That does
right.
sound right.
Mhm.
It just
That
sounds
does.
right.
That's good. I'm going with Tennessee because the SEC normally wins these type of tournaments, and they're a 4 seed, so why not?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Lady Balls, let's go.
I like it. Yeah, SEC baseball tournament kicks off in 2 weeks, and that tournament is normally nuts because you get a team. Yeah, I love that tournament. That's good. There's major league talent all over the field from Hoover, Alabama. That's a preview of what we might be picking in a couple weeks. Guys, it's time for what we're following. Once again, I have to thank my lovely wife for providing me the content for what I'm following, because that's probably true half the time. So we got a fun game to play, and the game is, and this is brought to us on TikTok by Red Shirt Sports. They put together this very nice college football NFL comparison where basically they take one NFL team and compare them to a college team. So for our listening audience only, I'll read these. There's a really good description on these, and give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you agree or disagree. So the Dallas Cowboys equal the Nebraska Cornhuskers because neither team has won anything since the 90s. They're both passionate fan bases, and guys, this is our year. Yeah, all three massive thumbs up.
100%.
Only difference is Nebraska people are the nicest people in the
Kinder.
world,
So much
and
kinder.
Cowboys fans are the worst.
Insufferable. I've been down here
Yeah,
the amount of
they're the
times
worst.
when I was working at that coffee shop, and Troy Aikman lives like literally like a mile away, and so he and his family would sometimes frequent the area. I never saw him, but I saw his like family and like his granddaughters come through.
Nice.
The amount of times it was like, oh my gosh, Troy Aikman. Okay, it was I wasn't even born yet. Please.
Teams are the same, fan bases aren't.
Exactly.
Nebraska fans, we love you. We feel it for you, you know.
Yes. At least
You
again,
are very
Nebraska, Y'all
kind.
are nice about it. Yes, you are the kind Cowboys.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're all in agreement here. This one's a little bit more interesting. Green Bay Packers equal the Oklahoma Sooners. Reason, both historic powerhouses known for producing great quarterbacks and a recent history of choking.
I was gonna say, I'm like that. What is consistent is high expectations, get through the playoffs, absolutely
Fall apart.
eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a thumbs up.
I'm gonna make it
And-
that for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mostly good with it.
Okay. They're different
It's
styles.
like-
Like it's
it's-
also hard to equate
it's
Lincoln
less
Riley's
offense
offense with
than-
Green Bay.
Right.
So that's where there's like
That's
some
it.
dissonance.
That's my one
but
thing.
yeah.
To say,
I
would
still
say-
think of like Green Bay. Like I know he hasn't been the coach there for a long time, but I still think like my first thought is Mike McCarthy. Like
Yeah.
it still is.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's also just not as dramatic. But Norman, Oklahoma is as middle of nowhere as Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that part fits too.
Yeah. All right. So we're 2 for 2. This one I think is going to be a slam dunk. The New England Patriots. Actually, this one's such a slam dunk. I'll see if you guys can just finish this one for me. The
it's
New England
Alabama
Patriots equals.
Crimson
Yep,
Tide.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
The reason
hatred
is
runs deep for both.
yes. The reason is both have the greatest coaches of all time, the most recent dynasties, and a hot take here, both falling off? Question mark. Ooh.
Patriots more than Tide, that's for
Patriots
sure.
more than
Certainly.
Tide.
Yeah.
But also, that is actually really funny. Falling off for Alabama is like only playoffs, like only
Every other year.
number one seed every other year. Which,
Yeah.
relative to the expectations, that's hilarious. I'll go yes. For
Takes
that, yeah.
magical like games and playing on the road to lose and still
Yep.
does so in overtime or last second field goal.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, here's one, and I guess since we're getting pretty good at this, I'll just see if you guys can guess this again. The Kansas City Chiefs equal which
Oh.
team?
Clemson.
Clemson?
Okay.
Clemson
No,
Tigers.
Chiefs. Can you describe? Can you just like the
Or
three
wait.
points that describe it?
No, Georgia. It's Georgia.
There you go,
Georgia?
Johnny. Yep.
Oh,
Because here we
I
go.
see.
Had a history of choking until
Yeah,
two recent
Georgia.
championships, known for great tight ends. That's certainly true. And
Mm.
potential new dynasties. I don't think there's any question about either one of those. Obviously, Georgia winning back to back. They're already pretty darn close. So, yeah, good job. All right.
It's different because of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. The Philadelphia Eagles equal.
Is this Clemson?
It
This could be
is.
Clemson.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is Clemson. History of choking until recent championship appearances. True. Clemsoning, remember, if you're not old enough, you may not be.
I miss
But
Clemson.
Clemsoning used to be a verb back before
Mm.
Dabo.
Back in the
Was
day.
able to get
Bring it back.
revenge on the goats of their sports. That's true. Clemson knocking off Alabama, the Eagles
Yeah.
knocking off the Patriots, and then rabid fan bases, which I love how that's phrased. That's very true. So
Yes. All the
Yeah.
disrespect Clemson gets, of course.
yeah. All right, I've
also,
got
Clemson. Sorry, your fan base is still not the same as the Eagles. Nobody is the Eagles.
Yeah, no,
Nobody's
no
the
one
Eagles.
should be. Like the level of insanity is
Yeah,
concerning.
that's true. No.
Hey, if you're an Eagles fan, stop it.
Yeah. All right, here we go, guys. The Cleveland Browns equal who?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no.
If you guys get this, I'll be
Give me a sec.
shocked.
Like just a cursed team.
Cleveland Browns equal
And I hope, listener, you're
Texas
playing.
Texas A&M. Is it Texas A&M?
It's not. That's an excellent answer, listeners. I hope you're playing along too. It's not. It's a good guess. I like it. Is Texas A&M on? Texas A&M's not on the board, so I'll give it to you as a
Josh,
right
what's your
answer.
guess? Get a guess.
Man, I gotta man. Yeah, what's a team
Throw
that just
something
absolutely
out there.
fumbles the ball?
Here's a hint, and this might help both of you. But Josh, I want you to answer first, just because Johnny's gotten too many right. The first comparison is both are known for being hot garbage. I don't know if that helps or makes it more confusing, to be honest.
I mean, I'm just thinking of like just teams that are. I'm trying to think of like absolutely chaotic garbage, like dumpster fire. I mean, I'm thinking Texas, but
But it-
Texas has a history of.
Right.
has a
Texas is
history
not a
of
bad
winning.
guess either. You're actually
Right.
very warm, Josh. Very warm.
Really?
Yeah. This is a
It
team.
better not be LSU.
No.
Because that would be wrong.
You guys are thinking too good. Name a team that has famously beat Texas in recent years. Twice,
You think
specifically.
Kansas?
Maryland?
Maryland?
No, but that's actually hilarious. The fact that there's multiple answers to the question I just
Well,
asked.
I'm right though.
Yeah,
They
you
beat
are.
Texas back to
All
back
right,
years.
I'll just say it. Kansas is the answer. The Cleveland Browns equal the Kansas
Kansas,
Jayhawks
Oh, this is
because
correct.
known
Very
for being
good.
hot garbage, occasionally puts together a great year. True, and starting to get a little better. I don't know if that's
Yep,
true for
okay,
yeah.
no, I like that.
All right.
I'm good.
All right,
Good.
Red Shirt
Kansas,
Sports
although-
is right on.
Jayhawks beloved,
Yes.
Browns despised.
Yeah, that's
so,
fair. All right. The Minnesota Vikings equal.
oh, choke job.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'll
Choke
give you
job
guys-
in prime time.
This one's a
Notre
little
Dame.
difficult. It is not Notre Dame. I'll give you guys the description
Oh,
because
that's
this one's
good, though.
slightly difficult. Minnesota Vikings equal
Okay.
this team because they consistently win but can't get a ring, known for electric offense, and can't win when
Oh,
it matters
no.
most.
Wait,
Which is kind of the same thing
Oh,
as the first.
yeah, it's Oregon. That's
yeah,
Oregon.
Yep, it is. Yep. Good job, Josh.
Let's go.
Yep.
I thought it was still Notre Dame until you said electric offense.
Electric offense. That's what tips me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, oh,
yeah.
it's not them.
All right. Here we go. San Francisco 49ers equal this team because they were dominant over the last century, still good, but no recent rings to show for it, and known for a great run game.
Oh, would that be Notre Dame?
It is.
Michigan.
It is Notre Dame.
Oh,
Yeah. The run game is, I don't necessarily look at Notre Dame and just equate like a good run game with them.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
not the first thing that pops into my mind, but still good comparison.
that's why I thought Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, guys, this is a perfect one to wrap up with. Josh, the Pittsburgh Steelers equal this team because they're consistently good. They both have obnoxious fan bases, and they both
no.
find a way to get great coaches.
Oh,
Oh, is
no.
this?
No. No.
Yeah, it sure would be. This is our
Not
beloved
with the
Yes.
Ohio
Steelers.
State
This is the
Buckeyes,
best-
which is
No.
This is the best list.
yeah, isn't it though?
That's
Good
a
job, Red
terrible
Shirt
list.
Sports.
I will say
Awful.
the
It's
only
the
thing I would
worst.
count is like people in the end. Yeah, it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
No. No, it's not fair.
Good.
It's
Yeah, it is
terrible.
fair because it's both decent coaches who I was just watching. I was just watching a podcast, a little clip today of people saying Ryan Day's in hot water if he loses to Michigan for a third year in a row, which is what we said.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
is.
And I will say Mike Tomlin is in hot water every year. He doesn't go above every year that he dips at or below 500. Which
He's
has not
never
happened
below
yet.
500,
Yeah.
Josh. It
Exactly.
won't happen. He's never in
Exactly.
hot water.
And so no, but if Kenny doesn't work out, like there's already talks about like, okay, what have you done?
It's the
When was the
GM's
last
fault.
time? When was the last time that Tomlin took them to a Super Bowl?
Right.
And I believe it was Packers, which was like what, 12 years ago?
2010, I think.
2010, yeah, 13
Yeah.
years ago. So like there is always this underlying what have you done for us lately? Thankfully, Ryan
Yeah.
Day has taken Ohio State to a championship. And within one field goal of another championship. So I think he's relatively safe as long as he beats Michigan. But I'd say there's some weird like hot water because the fan bases have extremely high this is a perfect list. Wow. Thank you, Aaron, for sharing. This is a great
Yeah.
list.
Oh, thanks for playing. That was a lot of
Terrible
fun. That was
Throw it away.
it stings because it's true. So that's what I'm following. There's other things I'm following, like how do you classify a sandwich, toast, all these things that would have
No.
certainly
Oh.
made Johnny mad, and hopefully we'll be able to.
We've
share
already
next
solved
week.
that issue.
I think we have too, but
I have
sometimes
my
we just
set
have to
theory,
remind
yeah.
ourselves of truth, Josh. You know.
That's absolutely right. Well, speaking of truth, North Carolina decided to spread some truth towards Tennessee, specifically the Chattanooga area. There is this random ad, and I can't find it. I think they may have taken it down because it got really controversial, but I'm trying to find it as we speak. It's a Hose is the name of the video. And in it, they accuse it's a new North Carolina tourism ad. Their slogan is "For real, visit and see," saying all the real natural beauty that North Carolina has. As someone who has visited North Carolina on multiple occasions, that is absolutely true. Beautiful states. Would not mind moving to the Carolinas if I could. Love that part of Appalachia. In it, they accuse.
You along with half the state already, Josh, but
Well, guys, I am from Ohio, so we have to migrate.
Mm.
At some point, it is our natural rights to move to Hilton Head. But that is our manifest destiny. You are correct, Johnny. But in it, it became revealed, and multiple people. I'm on Reddit threads. I'm on like multiple like sources are confirming this. There is a destination in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So if you're from Chattanooga, like post up in the comments. Do that Google Voice thing. I forget the phone number off the top of my head, but come and confirm if this is real. Ruby Falls is the name of a little like waterfall feature in a national park or a state park in Chattanooga that workers have revealed to be a fake waterfall. It used to be real. Remember how
Wow.
I had my conspiracy theory a few years ago about how some people say the moon used to be real and then we accidentally
Oh,
blew it up, and so now it's a projection. So there are multiple people saying, "Hey, I used to work as a tour guide or like work on the park for this Ruby Falls," and they're like, "It used to have enough water flow, but because of construction nearby, the river has been their source has been kind of closed up, and so the park now has a hose that pumps water,
Oh no.
kind of like remember Mad River Mountain, where they kind of just pump snow into it just to make it seem like that you can do something akin to skiing." Ruby Falls is fake, and so now there's all this fun internet controversy of whether or not Ruby Falls, Chattanooga, they're advertising a fake waterfall to go visit.
Mm.
So if
I feel like we
you're
should.
in Tennessee, if you listen, it's not terribly far away from me, and
Kind of meet in the middle.
I got time over the summer. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just go up to we'll go up and we'll find the source.
Take the show on the road. We could do a podcast show just like literally sitting by this waterfall.
I think that would be fantastic.
I think so too. I love it. Well, Josh, thanks for sharing. Before Johnny, you go, I just want to honorary straight to jail. Stetson Bennett for being in college for a decade and still not graduating with a degree, apparently, according to reports. So just throwing that out there. So
Hey.
straight to jail, Stetson Bennett.
Thank you for winning them championships, Bud. Please take a class.
I mean, I get, as
Didn't go
Cardale
there to
Jones
play
said, he's,
school.
yeah, right, exactly.
You didn't come to play school.
Yeah.
For 6 years, I'm curious how you're there for 6 years though. Stay
Just-
eligible
Right.
without getting a degree. Like, did you switch your major 5 times?
I was gonna say, I'm like, just do
Stetson,
sports
what we
business like
doing,
everybody
man?
else.
Mhm.
Yeah, get a communications major. All the communications majors going to come after me now. But let's be
That's why
real, guys.
I tried to
come
soften it
on.
with sports business, but
Come on. Like, let's be real. Anyway, speaking
learned
of
how to talk.
real
Okay, great.
and being real, I feel like I've seen this in the past, but it's recently come up again as I think the trend is becoming more popular, which is terrible. It's limb lengthening surgery.
I hate this.
Specifically
I
for
hate
shorter men. Aaron, and you should
now,
hate this, and I think
before-
all three
before
of
I
us
get
will
too
be on
angry,
the same page.
I have a
here.
disclaimer real fast. I am 6'2". So to be clear, I have never had unless I'm on the basketball court, I've never really had a situation where I'm like, man, I wish I was taller. Wish I was a baller.
Yeah.
You know how the song goes.
right.
Now, with that being said, I hate this, but continue, Johnny.
I was gonna say,
Yes. And I'm 6 foot, so I'm not short. Like, I'm a little taller than average. I'm relatively happy being 6 foot. Like Aaron said, like on a basketball court, even if I'm playing at like LA Fitness, I am usually on the shorter side, but not in any detrimental way. I'm not a professional athlete. Who cares? 6 foot is cool. But this leg lengthening surgery, they literally go in, they can continually break your legs. They basically keep breaking them, stretching them out with metal rods
that's the
so
worst.
that it can, like, the calcium and the muscle which is being stretched can like fill in the gaps. It's when you break your bone, you put it in a cast so that, and you set it properly and put it in a cast so that the bone can basically regrow, if you will. Yes, doctors, I know I butchered that, but layman's terms, that's what you're doing.
So it shouldn't
That's
happen anyway. So yeah,
That's
lay off,
kind
doctor.
of what they're doing here, except once they break it, they're stretching it when they set it. These guys have to relearn how to walk. You never can really do any sort of professional sports again. You probably can't run in any significant way. Like, you are destroying some quality of life here. This dude that I saw went from being 5'5" to 6 foot. Now, listen, I understand, like, you got some crazy women out there that are like, won't even look at you if you're not 6 foot. That weird standard that I don't even understand makes no sense.
He needs to be 6'2". He needs to make $400,000 a year. Like, hey,
It might as well be a job
Short Kings.
description.
We're gonna turn it into a dating podcast. She does not deserve you. You should
Yes.
not want
Mm.
her. If that is what she is looking for, and
Tell
you're
'em.
like, oh man, I gotta have this woman who is so shallow that she's gonna like, oh, I want tall kids, so I'm gonna no. And I'm saying that as someone who's 5'9". So I am like dead center as far as like average height of like American
Yeah.
males. So like I'm not speaking as like some 6'5" guy. Like I'm speaking as like the average.
Yes.
You're
We
fine
back short
just
kings
as
on
you
this
are.
podcast.
Short kings are great. We stand short kings.
It's absolutely wild though. I'm like, dude, don't do that. You literally have to relearn how to walk. Don't do
Yeah.
this to yourself. It's
You're
not
also-
worth it.
you're
It
messing up
seems
your body's
incredibly
proportions. Yeah.
painful. Oh
It's
yeah,
not
and
worth
that's what they said on the let me find the note. Asking doctors what are the risks associated with doing said surgery. Nerve damage, muscle damage, joint construction, dislocations, arthritis. Listen, I'm getting some of those things already at 26. That's not from doing leg lengthening surgery. That's just from my stupid decisions in sports at an earlier age. So don't do this. Don't you man, you are just be funny. Work on your comedy routine or something. There's so many other ways to get girls. Just be the nice guy. Work on your comedy routine. Get in the gym, man. Don't
work on your tight five.
Start a
That's great.
podcast.
don't do this.
The original.
I mean, this has also got to be crazy expensive. Don't
my gosh,
don't
yeah.
do this. This is terrible. Go be interesting. Travel around the world. You can do a lot of things with that money. Don't do this. No.
Become a TikTok food creator. Do anything.
Anything. I'll even stop complaining about those insane food videos I keep complaining about if that's what you choose to
Hey,
do.
they're
Just-
making
just
more. They're
not
making more money
this.
than you are.
Not
as
this.
Someone who's just known for being 6 foot now and nothing else.
Mm.
That's it, man. When girls look at me, all they're like, "Well, 6 foot.
Listen.
He meets the minimum requirement, I guess."
Yes.
That's he passes, not by much, but
At least there. Listen,
Yeah.
go buy a guitar. $100 on Craigslist all day. Go buy a
Yes.
guitar. Don't learn Wonderwall. Do not learn any other song
Mm-hmm.
except
learn some
Wonderwall.
Coldplay, man.
Yep.
Oh man, you go play the Scientist on acoustic guitar
Ugh.
like somewhere. Oh,
Good.
they're not gonna care. You could be whatever height. No one's gonna care. You're gonna go learn how to play Chasing Cars. That's a crowd
that's
favorite.
a good one.
Go play some Snow Patrol. Go learn some
Yeah.
Snow Patrol. All right.
Snow Patrol would be great.
It's so much fun. Go do that. They're gonna go crazy over it, and they're not gonna care if you're 6 foot or 5'5" or whatever.
Yep.
Mm.
Wow. What a way to end.
The way to end with it. That
We'll
was
just
an
gain some-
inspirational
hopefully,
note.
we'll just gain some new followers. We're
Yes.
with you guys.
We're with you.
We are with you.
We're never gonna make fun of your shortness. Okay, we get it.
Well, I
get
never
it.
said
y'all,
that.
Y'all don't get it, but I get it. I'm with you. They're not. I am.
That's right. All right. Well, as per usual, there's no great way to wrap up an episode following that conversation, but we hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. Again, you can watch us on YouTube to see if we are lying about our height or not, which is difficult to tell as we are all sitting down in front of our computers, but you can try to figure that out. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, except I don't actually want you to because we are at exactly 420 subscribers. So actually, please do not subscribe, or also please do not unsubscribe. We'd like to stay at that number forever. Anyways, but you can do that. We're on social media. We tell you this all every week. Johnny has some controversial NFL win totals coming out by the time this episode is out. So you've maybe already gotten angry at that. So there you go. That's on Instagram and Twitter and wherever else we decided to put it. I think that wraps us up. Enjoy the basketball, enjoy softball, enjoy English Premier League, whatever it is that you enjoy watching sports-wise. I hope it's a good week, or playing sports, whatever it is. Hope it's a good week. Thanks for making us part of your week, and we'll see you guys next week. That was obnoxious. Get out of here.
All right. If you guys want to know, they've just Brett McMurphy tweeted out again actually about the
Yeah, I just saw that.
did you see that?
Yeah. An hour.
I'm not
The one that's
surprised.
an hour ago.
Yeah,
Or-
those
yeah.
are the like 7 schools that anybody's ever talked to. Like,
What's
Sorry,
the thought
Duke.
that they're just
Yeah.
going? They're all collectively going somewhere. Is that the thought? Like together?
Well, so-
interesting.
no. So the talk is basically like, and if you might have already read the tweet, so sorry if I'm repeating it, but basically that contract, honestly, when Jim Phillips signed it, was awful because it locked you in for so long. Like,
Oh yeah.
part of the brilliance of the SEC and the Big Ten is you're signing 4 or 5 year deals most of the time. So that means you can just continually like get additional contracts in there. And so they're already like getting paid half of the SEC and Big Ten, and their contract goes through 2036. And it's the most restrictive buyout out of like any of the conferences, even like the SEC and Big Ten, partially because those conferences don't need to do that because they're not leaving. So, but the 7 makes sense to me. Like Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech. Like they're the schools of value. Like Boston College, like I'm sorry, like Boston College almost belongs in the Big East. Like that might be harsh, but they really honestly probably belong in the Big East.
Yeah.
They're just not a big enough school. I know you like hypothetically it's the Boston market, but they don't follow that school like that. So like they're not worth anything. Duke is only basketball, really. Wake Forest is actually really, really small. So they're not worth anything. Louisville and Pitt are honestly even too small, especially their fan bases. So, and that and they list these 7, and that doesn't mean that these 7 will all actually get taken. I think they're just the only 7 really worth anything. Like the weird thing is the Big Ten and the SEC can't take all of them almost in a way. So like, I think the Big 12 is like, the Big 12's not going anywhere. They're just going to almost be like the catch-all for the next best group of teams is like what I would assume probably eventually happens. Like NC State, maybe even though I know geographic sense, we're well beyond that. So, like Pitt, Louisville with West Virginia already in the Big 12 and Cincinnati, Louisville and Pitt make perfect sense to be in the Big 12. So there's going to be some teams left out like a Boston College or Wake Forest, but I don't know. It's interesting. It's the whole, like, I think, again, we've already talked about it, but it's the reason why the Big Ten didn't take Oregon and Washington. It's because they're waiting for their white whale in Notre Dame because obviously the ACC blows up. Notre Dame is on the market. So at least for all the sports, it's set football at a minimum. So, and they'd still have to sign a football contract with somebody. But the big news is basically like these schools are all talking to their lawyers like, is there a way out of this deal? Any way out of this deal? So like they're desperate because like a school like Florida State, who's like going to be ranked in the top 10 coming into this year, is like, listen, like if you want us recruiting on the same level, competing on the same level, their athletic budgets are double ours, and it's because of the television money. We can't keep competing with them when they have so many more resources. Like, when's the last time a recruit's really come down to like Florida State or Ohio State? Which one will we go to? That rarely happens anymore. No. And that's really because of resources. And Florida State, like, while I'm biased, obviously, but like, I don't see them quite on Ohio State's level. There should be plenty of recruits that are deciding between the two of them because Florida State has the talent right there. Well, and we just go into their backyard and take them.
Yeah. Well, and they say competition breeds, like, or I guess, I mean, like competition breeds improvement. Like if Miami's getting now, whether they succeed or not, but if Miami's bringing in all these recruits, does by association Florida State also figure things out a little bit more? Again, I think Florida State's going to be really good this year. So I think they're actually there already, but I don't know.
Right. But also, Aaron, on that same comment, would Miami and Florida State actually improve in a better conference where they're almost forced to, in a way?
They've been.
You're getting additional funds and resources. You'd struggle out of the gate. but you eventually almost get there just because you have to. You're pushed to do it.
Yeah.
It's, like it's almost like Ole Miss in the SEC. If you want to go for it, you got to chuck money in there just to be competitive.
Yeah.
And they have way better brands and bigger brands than Ole Miss does. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, like always.
Mhm.
I think the Big Ten would make me furious and probably take Virginia in that type of realignment. And I don't want Virginia. I don't need another academic institution that sports suffer because their academics are so rigid.
Mm-hmm.
I would love North Carolina, and I think North Carolina is probably at the top of the Big Ten's list when it comes to the ACC expansion. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I think North Carolina is probably the underrated one there. I think they might actually be the most valuable team for like the SEC too, because they already have Florida and South Carolina. Like they don't really need another school there. So the expansion and realignment's fun. I'm sad that all of it's blown up, but at this point it's already happened. So I just want I want the Big Ten to win. So.
Yep. All right. You two, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it.